Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Am I getting the pause?
You're a
better?
douche, by the way.
It's not a
You're
douche.
A
I'm
douche.
doing the pause.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. And it doesn't even have to be that long.
Okay.
It just can't, be the run-on sentence.
I can't figure out the timing. I'll try.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days. It's nice to see everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. You can find us at MLS number blah, 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 blah. I don't know what it's.
Welcome to episode 187.
That is us.
187 Forever Exileds later. Here we are. Big shout out to our patrons and other people who support the podcast. Thank you so much. We love your faces, and thanks for the resubs this week. We had a couple people sign back up, and hopefully you're enjoying After Dark. After Dark's our podcast after the podcast. Just get more of us talking about stuff and things. So thank you, everybody.
Last night you had a little bit of whiny session about the new format for Formula One sprint races, and then after the sprint race, my wife blew my mind with a new mentality.
Last night? What happened?
Sorry, not last night, last week.
Last week's After Dark. Wait, what did she blow your mind?
The weeks
with?
go so fast. It was basically like yesterday. Well, you know how we were complaining about the new format for sprint races? We thought it was douchey. And my wife's like, no, I forget. Now I have to read the conversation because I don't remember, but she kind of changed my mentality on it, and it was kind of a neat idea.
No.
So
she changed your mentality, but was it through text or was it through talking to you?
Well, we were chit-chatting, but then I shared it with the group.
Oh, must have been a different group than I'm in, but
no.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. But see, wives can change your opinion on things based on a number of factors. Like I'm just saying.
I can only think of one factor.
I'm just saying.
I can only think of one.
There's just ways. They have ways. They're magical creatures. And yeah, but that's good.
You're in the group. It was in the spoiler chat.
Oh, I have that one archived, so that's probably why. So I don't ever see that one. Do you remember what it was?
Smart.
I just want to say, I know you found it. When people ask, how come you guys don't do this live, or how come you don't stream it, or this is why.
Well, see, Justin's going to take that out. So Justin just asked me a question, and then I was silent for literally about like two or three minutes trying to find what my wife said. So you're not going to hear it, but that's why one of the many. Yeah. Also, no, not live.
Yeah, we're not pretty enough.
we have stuff to do. Are you kidding me? Look at these luscious locks.
That's true.
So anyway, no, but my wife brought up a good point that kind of changed my perception of the sprint race stuff. It's a great way for teams to properly test their tires for race pace and race day. Granted, I mean, the weather could be different the next day, but outside of that, it's not like you're doing qualifying the day before and then that's it. Like, this is a full race where you get to see the legit longevity of the tire that isn't 2 days before. So it's like a better P3, you know what I mean? And there's no tire restrictions on that as well. So, like that last race in Azerbaijan, everybody slapped on mediums. A few people at the back slapped on softs just to see what it was like, to see if it would work. And so that actually, from a strategic standpoint, that's not bad. I kind of like that. So if I think of it as like a fancy pants P3 that has points.
Yeah.
Good.
I think when they do stuff like that, though, pick better races. Don't pick.
Hands down.
Don't pick races where you're not going to see actual fighting for position. But yeah, that's not a bad call.
Honestly, it needs to be every race. It shouldn't be some. I know this is a trial period, but at the end of the day, it does need to be every track.
Really? You would like to see that at every track?
That's the point of it.
Ugh. I don't think I'd watch some of them. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't watch P3.
No, it's true. I don't.
Yeah.
So, anyway, how was your week, man?
Well, actually, we had someone after dark. We had somebody message us through our contact form. Some lamo named Soja, and they said, "Nerds, update the background on your website."
Oh, no.
So let's see what the background on our website looks like.
What is the background? The background.
Oh, it's old.
It's Siege of the Atlas. That's the last major. That was the last major.
Yeah, it has Bubblehead on it.
Yeah, that was the last major.
Not bad. Bubblehead's still around.
You want a different background?
But it says Siege of the Atlas.
Send
though. That's
me a
the thing.
picture.
It says Siege.
And I'll update it.
No, because then they're gonna send you our ugly picture that you did through
that's
AI.
A great idea.
No, it's a horrible idea. Don't do it. Okay. Now watch. Justin's going to be quiet for 2.5 minutes. It's going to change.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Anyway, thank you, Soja, for the wonderful submission through our contact form on our website. We were happy to hear from you. We're glad you're enjoying the show.
We also pay more attention to the voicemails. If you leave us a voice message, Soja, we would have listened faster. It's an option on our website. You can leave a voice message. It's very fun.
Congratulations to Moons from our community for finding a mirror in Delve.
I was online when he did it.
Really?
Yeah, it was very cool. Yep. And then I saw them posting in Discord that they're like, but I'm kind of done with the league at this point, so I'm not really sure. But still, it's awesome to have one. It's
standard forever now. It goes in your stash. It's there. It's like a nice little memorabilia.
Memorabilia. Yeah, so that's very cool. How was your week, buddy?
I'm not going to say anything until you're finished doing what you're doing. You are still clickety-clacking, trying to make a little few edits. Get out of here.
Go for it. Tell me.
You tell me when to F5 our website, all right? And I'll just keep going. I had an exhausting week. I didn't play anything. I didn't get any time to myself. Normally, I have like a shut-off time. Like as soon as the kids are in bed, like that's me time. Any chores that need to be done, get done. But it was just an exhausting week. And
why?
I had, you know what? I don't, outside of one or two things, I really don't remember. I mean, there was 6 weeks. I mean, well, we had race night that one night, which was nice. That was fun. And then I had date night with my wife, which we do every Wednesday night. So that was nice. But outside of that, like the time to do my own thing, it just stuff kept coming up. I know that 2 of the nights I was just so exhausted that I was asleep as soon as the kids kissed goodnight. Like I was just out for the night. And another one of those nights. No, I'm getting like I'm exhausted throughout the day. And then so like I can barely stay awake for book reading with the kids. And as soon as they're in bed, I'm in bed. So it's the opposite of good night's rest. But you know me, like concussion stuff and all that kind of thing. So, you know, my body wants lots of sleep. But my dog, so you know we have from when we fixed our perimeter drain, we have 3 sumps on our property now, 1 in the front and 2 in the back.
Oh, I didn't know you had 2 in the back. Okay.
Yeah. So we have 1 close to our house and we have 1 closer to the fence, just at the very edge of the lawn at the very back. The one at the very back,
the ones that because I know
the one in the driveway is not. That one's always been there, but it was clogged and broken. Like the perimeter drain was busted. No pump, just it's all connected to go down to the very back sump. And that back sump has a grate on it, like it's a normal sewer grate on it. This one was slotted because it's designed to have water either go in or out, depending on how much rainfall it is and how much water from the other sumps is getting pushed into it. So anyway, it's a slotted grate, but we've had it since all the work was done. Like it's been easily 9 months, maybe, I don't know, a year since we've had that grate. And now we found this out in retrospect, but we were just getting ready for bed, just getting ready to read the books for the kids for the night. And, you know, kind of like that part between where they're getting ready, you know, just after dinner, but just before books are getting read to the kids. And our dog comes like hobbling in from going outside in the backyard. We have an enclosed backyard. And so she comes hobbling in and there's just an insane amount of blood. We wipe the blood away just in case it looked worse than it was. And there was literally just like the skin was ripped right off for like a 1-inch square section. I mean, it looked rougher than that. It wasn't exactly a 1-inch square, but that's roughly the amount of, I don't know, I was going to say square footage, but you know what
I get what you're talking about. The area.
Like it's, so a square inch. And like, but it was like all the skin was off. Everything was there. You could see the vein. It was just, it was nasty. So anyway, we're trying to figure out what to do. And how do I say this without localizing stuff? So we call our vet and, you know, they have space for emergencies, but it's like, they're just closing. Everybody's just closing. I'm like, okay, shoot. And they don't have space. They're already booked for a few emergencies from the day. So I said, here's a few others that we trust though. And we recommend, no problem. So try these. So I try that one, same situation. So they give me some referrals. Try some of those, like everybody. I called about 7 different vets. Everybody's closing. So they say, okay, go to the one that's about 45 minutes away in another town.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Because they're legit. Nobody mentioned the one that was in our town.
Oh, is that maybe because they don't like it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I go online just to find out, like, why would nobody recommend this one? And the reviews are pretty topsy-turvy. But it was a 30-degree weather day. And to get to that normal 30-minute drive, would have been over an hour because there was an accident on the highway. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that with my dog. She's bleeding like crazy. Like, what if it gets like, it ends up just, you know, they stop traffic on the highway.
Sure.
And on this particular highway, there's not a lot of exits. So, you know, there's no escape route if I decide to change my mind. So I'm like, okay, crap. So we're forced to go to this one that was intentionally not recommended. Our vets don't say, don't go to this one.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
just
allowed
don't tell
to say
you
that.
to
They
go
just,
to that one.
Right.
Yep.
So anyway, I go to that and it just seemed weird. The whole situation, like I have all these preconceptions in my mind, but it seems so weird. And then all of a sudden, hang on, I'm going to F5 our website. You stupid. Oh, you got to change it.
Thanks, Soja. Thanks, Soja.
I got to throw up. Oh, it's so nasty. Oh, you got to change. That
I
can't
have to leave
stay.
it now.
No, it can't stay. Okay,
now.
for the week. Give them a chance to see it. And then
go check out foreverexiled.com. Anyway, so was everything fine in the end?
Oh, that's so nasty. Well, we went through a lot of rigmarole, and eventually we had to, because the cut was so deep, she had to have surgery on it.
Oh,
and
damn!
Wow. Yeah, like it was really bad. Ended up costing
us the grate.
Yeah. So what happened?
It's never happened before.
We found this out after when Riley was having surgery. We finally found the fur on the grate because we were trying to find out like what in the backyard did this. She probably, I don't know, like she's been around that grate for years. She goes out multiple times a day. So not years, but like months.
A long time.
So like what happened? I can't picture if she was daydreaming or barking at something.
Running after something.
It was straight down, but it was on the upper part of her leg, not the lower part. And she must have just slipped right in
through.
And it just slit. But it didn't.
Glad she didn't break it or anything.
Yeah. She didn't break a bone, but she didn't cut the vein, which it rubbed right against the vein. So that's crazy. Damn. Anyway, it was like $2,000 by the end of it. She's fine.
Yeah.
And she got crazy amount of stitches on the inside and outside. But God, I really didn't want to spend that money, man. Like,
no, that sucks.
Well, we've been so close to just like saving for the furniture just to finish off like from the flood a year and a half ago.
Can you like do anything to make
$2,000
safer for future stuff? Like there's not much you can do.
What we did was we swapped the grate lid. Now that one was more efficient for what it's designed to be. But there shouldn't, now we have a solid grate for the most part. Shouldn't be any issues, but we're monitoring it and we're told to monitor just to be sure, but should be fine. So yeah, anyway, that was a lot. And that was on Saturday. So that was at kind of the beginning of our week. It's our Friday now. So that was 5 or 6 days ago, but just with the amount of money that cost, that's just...
Yeah, that hurts.
I try not to worry about it. I know we're taken care of, right? But man, it's a lot.
Yep.
Like we're the kind of family where we hum and haw about if we should subscribe to Netflix or not. So that extra... It was a heavy week for me.
Yeah, that's
heavy
too bad,
week.
man.
And then I had doctor's appointments too, but we don't need to get into that. It's all right. So yeah, bye money. How about you? Did you have a better week than I did?
My week was a lot of meetings, like a lot. We have some big stuff coming up in a week. So it's trying to get through 2 weeks starting a week ago. So I need to get to the middle of the month. That's my target currently in life, is to get to the 15th of May. But yeah, it was a ton of meetings and some like very, very long meetings. We had one meeting and they said, one of the emails that went out was, I'll pick up pizza. And I was like, oh, damn it. Why? How long do you guys need to have this meeting for? So, but you know what? Light at the end of the tunnel. I've been feeling better this week than I did last week. And yeah, you just gotta day at a time. I didn't get to play as much Path of Exile. I did play, not as much as I have previously, just because of everything that's going on work wise. And I took the kids to the dentist. That was, my wife and I both went yesterday during the day and just took the kids out of school, took them to the dentist. One of the days this week, actually, she was having a tough week. So I was like, just take the kids out of school and go to the zoo. So she did. And it was awesome because she went at like 1 o'clock. So it was like dead. So they had a good time there. And
took 3 or 2?
Yeah, all 3 of them. Just took them all out. And
Logan must have loved that. That must have been a surprise, hey?
It was, yeah.
They were come to the office. He's like,
right.
Oh crap! They found the thing in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was good. You know, we haven't had we've there's been a feeling of not as much time with our kids over the last little bit, and it's been a bit tough, and it's certainly tough for my wife. She finds that stuff harder than I do. And so I was like, just take the day off and go hang out at the zoo. Like, they're going to have a blast. You're going to enjoy being with them. And so, yeah, it's been a fine week. I have to share this one funny conversation that I had with our buddy, Chris with a K, who's our buddy. So he's going through some stuff in life and some family stuff. And so I was chatting with him because he needed a projector. He wanted to borrow a projector that I have. And so I was like, yeah, I got to find it, make sure I've got all the stuff for it, but no problem, you can use it. And so he had messaged me and told me, I said, hey, look, I got it all. I got all the stuff. You're welcome to pick it up. And he said, oh, that's awesome. They're thinking of buying one right now for this situation. But if they don't get it, that'd be awesome if I could borrow it. And then I'm going to be going at the end of next week. And so I said, yeah, no problem. I said, the only thing is I do need the projector from after the 15th. So from the week of like the Tuesday to the Friday, the 16th to the 19th or whatever, I am going to need it. Is it going to work for you to be back by that point with it? And he wrote me, he said, laugh out loud, actually, I just found out they ended up buying one, so I'm not going to need to borrow yours. I'm like, okay, sweet. I'm glad they got one. And then he writes me a message and he says, thanks for being willing to help. And then he says, fuck, I sound like Tyler saying that. I take that back. Thanks for nothing, fuckface. And I just wrote him back and I wrote, haha, that's better, you asswipe. Oh, it was so funny. It just made me laugh when he said that.
At least he didn't call me Ty Ty.
He did call you Ty Ty. I actually just filled that in as Tyler. My message.
Dang it. No, take that out.
He did call you Ty Ty.
That's hilarious. Well, nice guy. Thanks for the fuck face, Chris. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, the week was good. It was a good week in general, and onward and upward. And let's get into Path of Exile.
Let's do it. It was a busy week in Path of Exile. Now, when did this league launch? I didn't check. That just came into my mind now. But are we April? A month in? Are we a month and a half? What day is it today? We're recording on the 5th, May the 5th. May the 5th be with you.
Oh, so close.
I like it. Sounds better.
Yeah, we're about a month. I think it came out the first week of April.
I still like that picture where it's Patrick Stewart, right?
Oh yeah, that's the best one.
He's got a nice sexy pose going. He's good. It's almost like one of those got milk poses, but without the milk stash. And they should get back into those, by the way. And then it says, use the force, Harry. And then it's quoted as Gandalf saying it. So you get all
good. Just get everybody angry at once.
You know what? That's right. So let's see what happened here. Crucible fan art competition looked really cool. The ExileCon qualifier event was announced, and then they had the first wave. I guess first qualifier. You know, it'd be awesome. I thought it would be kind of fun. I was daydreaming this. Of course, it would never happen, but it'd be kind of fun because you have like big names that are getting first, second, that kind of thing. I was thinking, like, how cool would it be if, like, we just joined up, totally crushed it, and then that was it.
I did read, so I'm gonna probably be wrong. I think it was I'm Exile is the person who won. I can't remember. I feel like it was I'm Exile. Somebody named I'm Exile won, and then that Ty Killer guy I think got second. And then, but what stood out was there was a comment I think Ziggy made that there was like a person that nobody knew that was actually like very close to winning, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that
you have to
is
stream
really cool.
Everything, right? So
yeah, and I saw the one clip from something, and they had their camera on their keyboard and mouse. So cool. I guess maybe I didn't look through the rules because I was never going to participate, but I actually like that rule that you have to keep that there. That'd be neat.
Cool.
You can't see my luscious hair, but
how does it work? Is it they do it like 3 or 4 times in first place for each of those events is who goes? I don't actually know. So okay, well, cool though.
I'm not a racing guy.
No,
I'm
not
a
my
racing
thing.
guy. So that's not true.
F1 vehicle.
Yeah, unless it's like real legit simulation full temp. Anyway,
I feel like when you talk like that, it has to be NASCAR. Like that's the NASCAR voice. That's like,
oh, you were such a prick to the NASCAR buddy that was watching our F1 broadcast.
I wasn't. That was you.
You probably don't even remember.
Oh,
Justin
I know. It was you.
Justin was a little quite a few extra drinks in this one racing night that we were having, and we were all having a great time playing. We play Formula One every week with about 5 or 6 friends all together, including ourselves, and it's a lot of fun. Justin was a few drinks in, and unfortunately for him, he's very good at drinking and driving in video games. Hopefully he's never practiced in real life, but in video games, he is so much better. And he's amazing when he's sober, and he's way better when he's drunk, and it's really annoying. So anyway, somebody was watching us, and they start talking about, you know, Formula One and enjoying it, and then Justin, in his little stupor, starts making fun of NASCAR, and then the person that's watching loves NASCAR, and just
I'm pretty sure
all Justin could focus on was that the fact that they have some oval tracks, but was talking in the way like that's all the sport is. So anyway, it was, but he kept referring to himself as Wrecker of Days. Yeah. So if I ever had a hope of trying to make broadcasting as some sort of income, I lost it.
Justin.
Yeah, that's right. That's why you subscribe to my channel, so you can say whatever you want. But I support you. That's right. So okay. So I want to shout out Stack of Hotcakes on Reddit. This was 5 days ago, and this Reddit post is called "The Love Abyss Needs."
It's a great name too.
It's hilarious. Justin, don't read it. Justin, don't read it. I want to read it and see if you can.
I won't look at it.
I don't know if I'll do it justice though. This the title's perfect. So this pretend notable that they want on the Atlas passive tree is called Competence in the Darkness.
Okay.
The pathing of abysses in your maps can no longer be dumb as hell.
That's
and then
perfect.
in white they describe dumb as hell. It's so awesome.
Like
dumb as hell.
Yeah.
So dumb as hell refers to the following behaviors: pathing directly backward out of a delirium fog, pathing around in circles for 30 full seconds, pathing back to the beginning of the map, etc. It's
like
called
the
competence. Yeah, it's competence in the dark. And
it does
congratulations, Stack of Hotcakes. It does need to stop being dumb as hell.
That's awesome.
Yo, man, I think I've commented on that post about 5 times, because every time I bring it up for our notes,
there's something
I
new.
laugh at it, and then I comment again, it's saying how good it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It does need something.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. And there's got to be something about, maybe not, maybe I don't know. Blight's the other one for me. Splitting into 3. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a 3, but a 4 or 5 splits. I don't know. Like, no, 2 max. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'd prefer 1. If there was even if it was a notable, so that you were investing in it to be less.
Make it like the Delve one up at the top. That's like a big long S, but the last one is Blight always is a single path. Yeah, so you have to invest like quite a few points to get to it. And you get some benefits as you're getting there.
Yes, like that to me is worth the investment, but it would make it fun for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, so way to go, Hotcakes. That was great. You've made me giggle lots.
Great name
There's
too.
new avatars again in the
cool.
in the Path of Exile store.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're old. Like it's like Malachi and the gem lady that calls you not a cockroach and stuff.
Oh, interesting. Whatever.
Yeah, long time to add those. They were probably on a strike, holding out and be like, I'm not showing up in the game until you put me as an avatar. And so
I wonder what
hands are tied.
They use to determine what and who to make those avatars of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's even one there that if you click on the link, the middle one at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I swear I've seen some of these before. Did they like redo? I don't know, but some of them don't look like.
Good Lord, what's happening to the one at the top left second? She's having a stroke or something.
I swear the one in the bottom right, second from the right, I swear that I've seen them before. So maybe they're redone.
It's too bad
no
they
way
don't
that
have
Malachi
like
was never in it.
That you can't like mouse over or something to tell you who they are.
Oh, that would be cool, hey?
Yeah. Anyway.
Way to ruin it, JJJ. No.
That one guy is way too clean looking at the top right, second in.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful blonde hair, nice trimmed beard.
Wonderful complexion.
Yeah, really. Very interesting.
Easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Especially surrounded by the uglies.
Let's see. They had a Keurig microtransaction showcase. Oh, Oh, they didn't save my notes here. Yikes.
What?
Oh, weird. Okay. Nothing, just getting used to the new Trello. They sort of kind of answered our souls fashion souls.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of barely, but in a unique Path of Exile way, answered our prayer for fashion souls a little bit. They came out with mannequins that you can buy for your hideout. Remember they were mentioning them at the beginning of the league?
Remember that.
So now they're actually out.
Okay.
Pardon?
I'm just surprised it took this long for it to come out, because I do remember that during the reveal.
Maybe they came up with the idea 2 seconds before the reveal.
Maybe they couldn't do it or something, or wasn't ready.
Yeah, but it is neat. Like, I've seen it, the interaction with it. Like, you have a mannequin, you have the full MTX there. You just make a quick click and it swaps. And for an extra added value, because it is part of your hideout and you actually want it to look cool, you can, it's a decoration as well. So you can change the look and the stance of the mannequin so that it suits whatever it is you're trying to do. But I do like that, because it is, I mean, it still isn't everything that we wanted with MTX. I mean, a lot far ways from it, but this is like having a favorites selection as a set, which, I mean, hey, better than what we had, right? So I guess it's cool to see what it's like. Hopefully it's not expensive.
Because it would be, if it's a hideout decoration, then it would be shared amongst your characters, which means you could easily swap any of your characters. So that's a cool idea. Is it a hideout decoration though, in the sense where you buy it once and you can place as many as you want, or do you have to buy each individual mannequin? You know what I mean? I don't actually know.
One mannequin costs 70 points, and 5 mannequins costs 200.
Oh, so you do have to buy each individual mannequin.
Yep. Okay. And obviously, if you were going to have 5, the saves you $15 if you buy the pack.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if I like it enough for that price, but that's cool. It's a cool idea.
I do like it. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, they came up with a bunch of different microtransactions too, like frogs with a utility flask, a spidery arachnamagus, because, you know, that's probably a real word that I've never heard of too. Cloak. Cool stuff. But the Crucible Forge, Justin, did you see it?
Crucible Forge.
Was it a forge? It's a port. Yeah, sorry. That's the keyword. Yeah, portal. Did you see it? The portal's actually the character that like pours the lava.
Yeah, look kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. So anyway,
I want to say that I'm going to boycott portals until they let me block portals, but that's not actually true. But I am going to say I'm disappointed in Grinding Gear games every time my pink one opens up.
Yeah, or purple.
Yep.
Where's the pink one from?
It was I think it was one of the very first full packs I bought, which was, oh my God, I don't even remember what it was called, but it's boring. It's like the Twitch one. Like, I don't want it.
It's just a different color of the blue. All right. Yeah. So anyway, that one's a really cool one. And then they also came out with the ability to gift wrap, so it's a consumable MTX, which kind of drives me nuts, but it is. And you can, when you're in a town, I can drop an item for somebody and it shows up as a gift. And then when they pick it up or open it, whatever it is, then fireworks happen. Neat. I mean, it looks cool. I just wish that you could gift wrap MTX.
Yeah, that's not going to ever happen. I guess this is the only way you can drop an item in town to give to somebody, because you can't normally drop an item in town. But
yeah, good point. Yep.
I guess it's kind of cool.
And then there was Justin, drum roll, we got the 0.1 patch.
We did.
Console got it with a whole bunch of the other hot fixes in there too. So I posted the console one because it has the other hot fixes that were within the this week as well, instead of having 50 links.
Okay, I only have the big one for PC, the big patch notes for PC.
Okay, if you click on the link that's here for the Xbox one, it's the exact same patch notes, but then at the bottom, it also includes the 5 hot fixes that there were this week as well.
Oh, okay. I see. Cool.
So it was huge. Now I'm trying to figure out what the 0.1 of this is. There's a ton of bug fixes, that's for sure. So maybe that was it. But there's some pretty important hot fixes that needed to be done as well. But I'm actually there's some improvements that aren't like league specific, not necessarily like league content, but just like QOL stuff for the general core game.
The map one for sure is cool.
Yeah. So
the map complete.
Let's see. I actually, and I don't mean to bore people, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things I want to point out from these patch notes.
Cool.
You want to go first?
No, I'll throw them in because for me I actually thought it was great. These ones I actually read through all of the bugs just to see out of curiosity where some of them stood for me. The stuff with regards to the towering titans and challenges and Crucible stuff I didn't really care about. The only one I thought the map complete was cool. When you've killed a boss. Is there concern that sometimes you don't know when you've killed a boss?
Yes.
Okay.
Most definitely. Like some bosses you know specifically and there's an arena for, but others sometimes the arena was so close to the beginning you're like, wait, did I kill that? Or sometimes you'll see, especially in those like cave one, I forget, I get them all mixed up because some of the base types are quite similar, but there's a cave looking map where like I'm used to hugging the outside edge, but the boss is actually on the inside. But if you have the whole map revealed and it says 15 monsters left, you're like, do I really want to run all the way over? I'm pretty sure I got it. I don't remember. So the and I know that the answer to this is obviously yes, it does, but or there's other reasons, but I'm just, for killing a map boss, I can think of Atlas completion. But other than that, the only thing I can think of is maybe you had an altar that had something when the map boss is killed. Or I don't know. I think it's a great addition. I like it. I'm fine with it. I just was a little surprised that people were so excited for that. I love it. To me, I have finally an exclamation marks. Now, I don't think we actually said what we were talking about. Map complete now displays on the screen overlay on the right hand, kind of like on the quest side, when you've defeated a boss or bosses in that map. I think that's great though. Like there's a lot of, it's basically just a memory thing. Did I complete the boss or not? And I mean, you can do that for. Doesn't it only show if you hit, so in PC world, hit tab where it brings up how many monsters are showing, and now the map is now big in the middle of your screen? Because I don't think it shows in the normal version. I was doing mapping, and the only time I ever saw map complete was when I would hit tab, which then pulls up like how many monsters are remaining, because you don't see how many monsters are remaining in the mini map version where it's up in the top right corner. I wish you did, but
right. But so you don't see the map complete that there either until you hit tab, and then it's part of that display.
I don't know. Is that what it is for sure?
Yeah. So and that's why I just thought, which I know a lot of people play that way. Like a lot of people keep the mini map big on their screen. I just only do that in Heist. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm really glad that they did it. I just was trying to figure out in my head what the big benefit to that was besides Atlas completion.
Atlas completion, Maven completion, whatever completion. But I mean, there's also people that focus on, drops for bosses and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's remembering if you beat the boss or not. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. You step away from your computer, you come back. And, people in Path of Exile, like yourself, speaking about Crucible, like people care about their seconds. You know what I mean? And so if you're like, crap, I'm back at the start portal. Did I get the boss? I don't remember. Sometimes they just get annihilated so fast that you don't know. I don't play that way, but that's only by strategic choice.
Obviously.
Anyway, yeah. So I love that one. I was expecting this to be a bug fix, but this is, hang on. So I said, this is good. The cycling damage reduction monster modifier now grants 80% reduced damage taken from elements, other than the active one previously at 90% reduced. Two things. I'm pretty sure that there's a bug with this, and as soon as it hits your damage type, it just doesn't go away. I'm pretty sure it doesn't fluctuate.
Feels like it.
It does. It's like I do physical damage, and I'm doing decent damage. It's really slow now, but then it just stays slow, and then I have to deal with that the entire. It doesn't seem like it ever leaves after it kind of like checks, this is the kind of damage they're doing. But it also says 80%, the monster modifier now grants 80% reduced damage taken from elements. Does that mean the physical damage one is still 90?
I didn't think there was a physical, was there?
Yeah, it cycles. Elemental. Yeah, they had a change in the description earlier when the mod was new, that made sure that it was generic to damage reduction because it does include all damage types.
Yeah, I can't say for sure. What I can say is it's a stupid mod.
I just
think it's dumb. I don't understand why it's even in the game at all. I honestly don't get it. I feel like it's such a silly. It's just weird. It doesn't make any sense to me. But You know what? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, 10%, I guess, less reduced damage is fine, but I still think it's dumb.
So now this one I prefaced with really with an exclamation mark. Elemental ailments other than freeze are no longer discarded if their duration is lower than 30 milliseconds. 300 milliseconds. That gets my brain going though. Like there's a lot of elemental ailments that have been discarded when you're not hitting hard enough. Like that's a lot. That's a big deal. That changes a lot. Unless I'm misreading it or not thinking about what it's actually appropriately doing, that means that every single little ailment can do a little bit of tiny, and then there's stuff that stacks that doesn't get thrown out.
It's one of those sentences that's elemental Path of Exile for me that makes my head hurt.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they don't have any of this stuff in the game. I guess this is something that would be a little more complicated. That would be kind of like wiki specific, but
duration lower than 300 milliseconds. I'm going. What
that's like an hour, right?
I don't know what that means. I literally don't know what that means. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a dummy.
No, that's so anyway, but that's like, I'm excited to get back into, you know, when I start thinking about another elemental ailment, does, you know, all of a sudden that's removed. It might change my mentality of a build that I'm thinking about in a league or two. So I'm excited for that. This one's prefaced with keep it coming. And this change is clarified the wording of cast when damage taken support to explicitly state that only damage from hits is tracked. Very good. Now please change every single other gem that's missing a lot of information, and we're on our way with ESO. Brought to you by ESO. This one's prefaced with huzzah! Fixed various cases where the UI elements could display on top of Crucible Forge UI.
Yeah, I've never run into it, but I've seen pictures of people having problems with that.
Controller support has a big problem with it too, especially minions with their health bars and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And this one's prefaced with, Justin, are they listening to us? Because they fixed a bug where, remember when I was talking about this, I kind of made it a little discombobulated, but fixed a bug where energy shield recharge rate from the Wicked Ward keystone was not applying to the life recharge when allocated combination with Eternal Youth.
Yeah, I remember us having this talk and it wasn't making sense to me that you were having problems, but maybe that's why. Did you ever test it again?
No, I haven't tested it since that came out. I was really hoping to, but also it does, like, I'm intentionally not going to, I'm trying to avoid Wicked Ward, but I don't go by Wicked Ward. So that investment requires much more of a tree revamp than it sounds like it would. So, and it would also require me modifying my tree to include a specific notable that had something to do, I forget the exact wording, but it was something about my 20% of my armor investment works toward energy shield recharge rate. Right.
Yep.
So it was combining Wicked Ward with Eternal Youth with that notable. And
so I'm guessing though, this is what you were experiencing though, which is cool.
Well, yeah, like it was all working as far as I knew. It was working fine. It just wasn't strong enough. I didn't think that it was valuable enough. Yeah. Right, like it wasn't strong enough. And it also, in a way, I still needed to not take damage for 2 seconds for that recharge rate to apply. So the play style didn't suit me, but maybe because it wasn't working strong enough or at all, maybe that's why I didn't see a value in waiting for that 2 seconds.
I don't remember if it was in the main episode, if it was in After Dark, or if it was maybe just us talking on Monday, but it always seemed odd to me that Eldritch Battery doesn't go through the same restrictions as anything else. You know, like if I take Eldritch Battery, I'm always regenerating ES. It's not a don't take damage for this amount of time and then you'll regen it. It's weird that that doesn't happen when you go the other direction and have your ES count towards your life regen. I find that a little bit odd.
Maybe it's because your mana doesn't take damage.
Could be. Yeah.
So maybe if you were doing a build where some of your mana was part of your damage mitigation, maybe there would all of a sudden be a 2 second delay in the recharge rate.
I don't know. Even in the wiki, it states explicitly that Eldritch Battery is not affected by the taking damage. There's no like star or asterisk or anything. So
interesting. I wonder if that's a bug then, because that does seem inconsistent, because now you have two different ways of applying energy shield recharge rate to non-energy shield factors, right?
Yeah. I just find it, I find it a little bit weird.
Yeah, for sure. This one's prefaced with more. Fixed a bug where armor, energy shield, and evasion modifiers. Nope, I'm going to start again. Fixed a bug where armor, energy shield, and evasion modifier tags were not displayed on relevant modifiers. Well, just keep updating those tags. Few hundred more. And how many? Oh, right. Yeah. How many people bought these crazy things? They added another 448 foiled unique items. Like that was an insane
we talked about that
price.
last week.
But this is no, is that the same?
Yeah, I think that was the hotfix we talked about last week. But it's still crazy,
right?
That there's a lot.
Yeah, but like what are there? 3,000, 2,000? Like what were those prices? That was like, wasn't that
was the highest
$400?
tier? I think it was the highest tier supporter pack. I think is what got it. Yeah, crazy.
Like no wonder GGG. Like I'm always a critic of how GGG prices their stuff. I've always been the kind of person where I would want cheaper prices and then more people being tempted to buy cheaper things often enough. You know what I mean? As opposed to the rarer purchase of something more expensive. But considering how many of things have been purchased, no wonder GGG prices things the way they do. That's crazy. So anyway, some really cool additions, some really cool fixes. And did anything that didn't excite me or that I didn't notice? Anything I missed for you?
I don't remember any specific fixes that, other than the ones you've mentioned, that really stood out where I was like, oh, I feel like there might have been. Oh, I do remember one. Fixed a bug where breach stone map crafting options that ordinarily can only be obtained from it that fled on research duty could be granted upon completing a map with shaping the skies atlas notable passive allocated. That happened to me. Like, I think I had 3 or 4 map craft options on my map device that was called Breachstone something. It's the first time I'd ever seen Breachstone options in the map device, like where I could apply it, and it would just be red anytime I put a normal map in there. And I think it would make it a pure Breachstone or so, or you had there were more modifiers or whatever.
It was okay.
No, it did work. If I put a Breachstone in there, okay, I could do it. But apparently you weren't supposed to be able to. I guess it that fled would have that craft option, and then you would put in the Breachstone and then craft it, and then you'd get that whatever altered Breachstone. So I still have. I think they're still sitting on my map crafting device, but I guess that wasn't ever supposed to be. You weren't supposed to ever be able to get those, which is so weird how that could happen. Like how all of a sudden the shaping of the skies, which gives you a random map craft, how does it all of a sudden just pull something that's never ever been part of that? It's just
that's just the tagging system, right? But then you have, I think it's pretty amazing that it works. Like, so all of a sudden this map craft that's supposed to only be in this section of the game, it's in a different section of a game, and it works no problem.
Yeah, it was very
that's
weird.
really cool.
So yeah, other than that, no, there was a lot of fixes. This is one of the first times I've actually read through all of the fixes.
All right.
And it's cool. I'm with you. I don't get what makes this a 0.1, but I'm going to go with the map complete on a map. That's what did it.
Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah. So awesome though. I love the changes, GGG. I loved it. I keep it coming. I love it when you just throw in this QOL stuff that, whether it's been clamored for or not, it just all of a sudden appears, and it's been like, now we're gonna have like these map boss complete or map complete up there, and we're gonna take it for granted. It was just slid in. There it is. And there was no big hurrah. I mean, everybody appreciated when they noticed it, but in 2 months, we're going to think that that's the way it's always been since beta. You know what I mean? So I love it when they just throw stuff in. This is the way it's going to be. This is core. I like it.
You want to know what I found a little bit funny is that the amount of people commenting. So here's why I find it funny. When you make a comment and you post on their forum and say something like, too late, already stopped playing. No, it took too long. This was too long, too late. I read that and I'm like, but you're here.
Yeah, you didn't stop playing.
I don't believe you.
We wouldn't see you until League launch day or League reveal day if you'd actually stop.
Me laugh. Anyway.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's like if you're that upset about it and you actually stop playing, you're not taking the time till now I'm logging back in. Now I'm gonna go. I gotta hit reply. I gotta type this. Yeah.
That's funny.
Did you read this article that I have posted here?
Where am I looking?
If you haven't, it's not long, but if you haven't read it yet, we can read it next week because there's lots of other stuff.
What's it called? Oh, it's awesome article. Sorry.
Awesome article. Yeah, no problem. It's
this does sound familiar.
It was from the middle of April, but we haven't talked about it yet. And the title, it's from Polygon, and the title is, "In 2023, there's still nothing else like Path of Exile." But if you haven't read it, that's fine. We'll just talk about it next week.
Yeah, I do remember seeing it, but I don't remember reading it. I do find it. I will read it later, and we can chat about it. But it's funny how it's kind of like politics. You get like the CNN and the Fox, and you've got these like two opposing sides. I'm not saying that's Polygon and anyone else, but I remember seeing an article not long ago that said Path of Exile was in trouble because of Diablo 4. So like, it's just funny how there's this like, just based on the person's opinion and feeling towards something, it changes. But yeah, I will read that later. I've got it saved now.
Funny enough, I did actually want to talk about a few. For some reason, Google thinks that I really like Diablo 4. I probably searched it enough just for the Path of Exile's sake, not Diablo's sake, because I'm not going to spend any money on it. I'm not going to get it. But yeah, so anyway, I do get updates on my Google feed about Diablo 4. And so I'd actually wanted to talk a little bit Diablo 4 on this one. But that's getting ahead. Do you want to talk about your week in PoE?
Yeah, sure. I had a really good week. I beat all the Ubers with my totem explodey guy. So I did Uber Maven quite a few times actually, and then did all the other versions of the Uber. Uber Cyrus is awful. It's not a fun fight at all. It's so
normal
stupid.
Cyrus is awful.
Yep. And then I did struggle with Uber Elder.
Wait, how many Ubers?
Uber Elder. So it's
explain to me how Uber works.
Okay, so there's Elder.
Yeah.
And you fight just Elder.
Yeah.
There's Shaper. You fight just Shaper.
Yeah.
There's Uber Elder, which is when Shaper and Elder join up.
Oh, but that's the normal. That's Uber
right. Yeah,
Elder. That's the normal Elder Shaper fight. And
right.
There's
and it's actually the one that you have to do
Uber
for
Elder,
the favorite. For the favorite slot on the device, it doesn't say defeat Uber Elder. It says defeat Elder in the Shaper's realm or whatever. That's considered Uber Elder. It's the version where you fight them both together. The Uber Elder is when you take the Atlas passive to make it area level 85, and it makes the fight harder, which it did. I did struggle with that. I did do it, but it wasn't fun. In fact, none of them are that fun.
Is that build specific though? Is that because you're kind of glass cannon and you're just going in to just get the crazy damage?
Totally.
Is that?
Yeah, it's 100% based on how my build is. Like I've done Uber. I don't mind the Uber Elder, like Elder and Shaper in most of my builds. I actually don't mind that fight. I do know what's happening. The glass cannon is not a great fight for that because they're not always both. So there's periods where they're immune to damage and you have to be fighting a certain one. And if you're not super high movement and you can't get around and you can't tank stuff, it's not the greatest. So yes,
that is 100%
based on mine.
Sure,
Yep. Uber Maven was hilarious because I think I had to do the memory game once. If you kill her within a server tick, you don't have to do the memory game. So you have to do enough damage that her health hits 0 before the next server tick.
Hey, Justin.
And,
no problem.
No, I can't. I'm using my arm. But sometimes I might lose a portal to it, but it was not a big deal at all. And then I was playing with I wasn't sure what to do. I'm still kind of at that point. I mentioned it last week too. Like I don't have a purpose or a goal in Path of Exile right now. It's more just to play. So I switched
That's the best way to play.
My witch, the one that was the one that was doing the fire trap, because I knew I wasn't going to play that one anymore. I didn't like the fire trapper. So I switched that one to see if I could make her more magic find.
Okay.
And play around with like Ventnors and other stuff. So I put Death's Oath on her, switched up her ascendancy, and just trying to see how it works for running around. So it's been fine so far. And I haven't had a ton of time to play. I'm debating if I want to buy a headhunter just to see if that makes it more fun, because I have currency. So I'm just kind of at a impasse right now, just deciding what to do. But yeah, it's been a fine week. Like the base game, Crucible. Here's where I'm at with Crucible. I don't like it. I'm not into it. It's just not my thing. But I did buy a bow because I needed a bow. Okay, let me tell you two things.
Okay.
The first one, I bought a bow because I needed a 6-link bow. I wanted to run with caustic arrow. So I was looking for something relatively simple, but I didn't want to deal with crafting it. So I'm like, just give me something with the +1, +2, and some chaos damage over time. And and I found one and it was great. It had already a +1 modifier on the Crucible as well as 12% to quality. So I'm like, fine, that's great. And then I was looking at it and I'm like, man, there's actually this particular Crucible tree had 3 more nodes in the path that I could go to. And 2 of the last 2 were actually like, oh, those could actually be good for me. I could actually use the benefit from them. So I tried for a couple maps. I'm like, I'm just going to go to the Crucible. It's not fun, man. It's just, it's like when I'm mapping, I'm going quick, I'm having a great time. And then I stop and I hold the button down and then I kill some monsters and then I move on. I don't know. Like I love the idea of the passive tree on the item. I think it's such a cool idea. I just hate the Crucible part of it. I just don't, it's not fun for me. So that was the one thing. The other thing is sometimes you should not play Path of Exile and think of ideas or try to come up with new ideas or builds or whatever when you're tired, maybe while you're inebriated. They're not sometimes.
I was waiting for that addition.
They're sometimes not the greatest because I wanted to go Death South, and like an idiot, I was like, well, I've got currency. I'm gonna make the area of the damage over time. I got to make this strong. I'm gonna make the aura strong. It does not need to be 6-linked, and I, like an idiot, bought a 6-linked Death South for a bunch of supports, like an idiot. So yeah, I think I spent like 8 or 9 divines on something that I could have just gotten for like 10 chaos, or I probably already had in my inventory. But yeah, no, you know what? It's something to do. I'm having a good time still playing the base level of the game. I have messed around with my Atlas passives so many times. Good. So many times. So that is good, fun, right? To me. Like I'm assuming I love that. I absolutely love trying new stuff, because there have been times where I'm like, oh, I kind of want to try this, or I want to shift. Maybe I want to play some red altars, or I want to try with the blue altars. Like because I don't have a purpose, or I'm not farming for something in specific. I do feel the freedom to, like, you know, mess around with whatever I want to mess around with. So I love that Atlas passive tree, because that's the part where I feel like I can't mess it up. I can just do what I want to do. It's not going to wreck it. Yeah, and if it does, I can change it. I have, as long as you have regrets and you have Orb of Amakings, I'm fine. You can change however you want to. So,
what are you invested in now?
Currently, I'm trying Legions. I wanted to see if I could get the Legion clearing, because you can like double up the rewards from Legion. Like you can actually make Legion pretty good for currency farming, and so, but I wanted to see if I could clear Legion. So that's currently where I'm at, with also still taking the ones to get the Shaper and Elder maps, the Cyrus guys, I can't think of their words, but their maps. Like I still have some points invested to get the percentage increase from the map boss to drop those.
Yes,
those maps.
Those are those notables I hate being without, because I'm still wandering path, and so there's a very few of them. But I love the ones where it's like, okay, you beat the boss, you get this percentage. I hate not having them.
Yeah, and then other than that, I'm playing with strong boxes. I'm playing with shrines. Those are always like my go-to ones. I don't do essences. I know everybody loves essence. It's just not my thing. I don't like them. I always forget about essences. It doesn't matter how many I have, lots or little. By this point in the league, I've completely forgotten about them. I never even go into that tab. So yeah, it's been good. How's your week? Did you play? I know you said you didn't get too much.
No, by the time I had an opportunity to yesterday, like even yesterday after the crazy week that I had, I didn't even have time to go grocery shopping. So I went and did the pickup right at the store. And then, you know, that was at like 8 o'clock, but then they don't show up till 8:30. Like it's a half-hour window when you do pickup at Superstore.
Oh, okay.
And for whatever reason, it took them the full half hour to come out to my vehicle, and I'm like the only one in the parking lot. I'm like, I could have got in, but I did the grocery shopping at 10 in the morning, and because it was just that kind of day, and so then I go pick it up. And normally I'm not doing that, right? And then luckily my son, 8 years old, he wanted to come. Like, he's just trying to stay out of bed, but he wanted to come and help, and I offered. And then he was like the happiest helper in the world, putting everything away. He's like, "Oh, Dad, do you need that? Okay, I got that." And he's like putting them all away. And sure, maybe part of the motivation is staying out of bed, but he was such a, if he didn't help me, I would have like fallen asleep on the kitchen floor halfway through. And so anyway, but by the time I finished that, and then I have to take I can't let my dog out into the back right now with her cone. I have to take her out because I can't let her just run around in the bushes and open up the stitches. So by the time I was all finished, it was 9:30, and I'm like, I have some questions, but I really am I'm just too tired to even focus on the numbers on Path of Building right now. And but anyway, I've been thinking a lot about CI. You know what I mean? Just like if it'd be so, that's like no life lasts. You know what I mean? And I haven't done CI since they added instilling orbs, and so I've been thinking about that a lot, and just trying to make something work, but maybe with chill. And so anyway, I spent the last 2 weeks humming and hawing about my Reaper build and my slow-mo build, but maybe throwing CI into that instead. And I started noticing as I've been playing with my Reaper, especially on PC, that in the last couple of weeks when I've been playing with my Reaper build, when I do maps that crush my tree investments, like resists or armor, like, so I have a lot of max resists. I have 81 and 82% for my elemental resists, and my physical damage mitigation's very high as well. I have about 202%, I think, armor, and then of course determination and armor on my gear. But when I have tree investments that crush those stats, I still don't feel like those stats are crushed. And so I'm like, how much of my mitigation is actually from the tree, and how much of it is actually just from my skill gems? You know what I mean? Like, I have Arctic armor and I'm stationary. I get, I think, 100% increased armor when I'm stationary from one of those new notables, mastery notables. I have petrified blood, which is a massive help there. And there's something else that I use as well for mitigation. And I'll then along with enfeeble. And I'm like, when I run those investments, I don't feel like there's a difference. Or sorry, when those tree investments get crushed by map mods, I don't feel like there's a difference. I'm sure there is, but it doesn't feel like it. So then my mind starts going like, okay, if I took away these investments, could I just stack on energy shield, or could I stack on CI and just get like 9,000 CI and have very little damage mitigation outside of my skills? Would that be valuable? And so my brain's getting going. So anyway, I tried out a little bit, but a very poor test. It was, in retrospect, it wasn't even worth the respec, the free respec I get on standard, because I respect, did this idea, did the CI tree, and didn't work the way I wanted it to.
CI used to be so fun when you could take Vow Pact with Leech.
Yeah.
That was like the way I used to love playing it, but then they changed it all.
Yeah. Well, outside of Energy Shield Leech, which is never something I consider because I'm primarily a minion player and or Righteous Fire, which dots. So, but outside of that, Energy Shield's quite dependent on like 2 seconds of avoiding damage. So, whether that's spell suppression or evasion, I guess spell suppression is not it, whether that's evasion or what used to be dodge, but it's not the standstill kind of build that I like. So even though my test didn't really check all my boxes that I wanted to do, or that I was hoping to answer, it did kind of answer that. Like, I am just really in the mood, and I have been for a long time, for a build where I can just put my controller down, stare at the screen, recharge a little bit so I don't have to stare at the screen. What's funny? I was loading the Formula 1 game the other day this morning to answer your question about RaceNet. And then it had like a photo seizure warning at the beginning. And I'm like, I do see that every time. But the racing game, like, it's not that flashy. And then I start thinking about Path of Exile with no warnings on the front. And I'm like, where are their warnings? Aren't they scared about legal liabilities? Like, you get that storm mod on an enemy, I can't look at the screen. And that's not the only reason why I can't look at a screen. You know what I mean? Like, so I was kind of giggling, totally off topic, but I was giggling to myself that Path of Exile They're in such a
Doesn't
rush
have
to
that.
get you in game that there's like no liability at all at the beginning, or like legal
warning or anything.
Yeah, well, the whatever easy word that I'm looking for. There's nothing that's actually protecting them from somebody that if they actually have an issue playing their game, they're in trouble, right? No warnings. So yeah, I didn't actually have a week. I really wished I did, but I was just so run down and beat up. So never had an opportunity to. So I'm looking forward to this week. Hopefully I can take it easy a little bit this week, have the evenings that I normally want, and keep trucking. But the thing that's mostly been on my mind outside of theory crafting, though that CI stuff took up a good portion of my daydreaming, is the battle between, well, 2 wandering path or not 2 wandering path. I love the quantity bonus. I hate missing out on certain notables.
Yep.
That's it.
Wandering Path for me is a good thing to just throw on when I need more maps, because I can throw it on and I get the increased chance to duplicate and increased chance to drop connected, run it for a few maps and get it up. That being said, you can just throw on scarabs now and it's so easy. So
Gotcha.
I do like Wandering Path though as well.
It is. It's a really well balanced keystone, that's for sure. It makes me think and think and think and think and think.
I think Wandering Path and Grand Design are both really well designed.
Yes, agreed. So many of them are. So many of them are. You okay if I bring up one more thing before we go? Sure. Or are you out of time?
No, I'm good. As long as we talk about your bottom note. So we can talk about both of them if you want, but that bottom one has to be talked about.
So Diablo 4, I've been getting, as I mentioned, some news about it as it's been coming out, and they're slowly, like any trickle information, and it seems like such a shallow game. So like, what are people going to be left with by the time the game comes out? But anyway, this article is titled, let me click on it here. I can read it, but I want to make sure I'm getting it right. This article from Screen Rant is about Diablo 4, and it's quoting, "We don't want to overwhelm players," says the Diablo 4 dev on skills and class design. Right away, I'm like, lame. It's going to be like Diablo 3, but with mounts. So anyway, I read through the article. I don't know if you have or if you've been paying attention to it, but they get into the skill tree and the new Paragon system. And so there's lots to it. It does look like their glyphs seem pretty neat, but it also seems extremely straightforward. So, but
that's what they've always done, and that's been fine for them.
Well, but what everybody loved about the series was Diablo 2, not Diablo 3.
Diablo 2 was still pretty straightforward, though. Diablo 2 was nothing like Path of Exile in complexity. Diablo 2 was still very, very simple. There wasn't any craziness you had to understand. Like, one of the things I will give Blizzard and Diablo credit for, never had to check a wiki, ever. Everything was in game.
Amen to that.
So like, and I think part of that comes from the fact that it is simple. It's very basic and straightforward. And I'm not sure that, like, I don't think I could ever take on another Path of Exile-esque game, because I'm at the point now with Path of Exile where I'm comfortable. I get it. I know the stuff. New stuff comes out. I can understand it. I'm well versed. I'm good with it. Add that to a second game. Now, I can't do it. Let me please just go play Minecraft or something. Like, there's too many thinking. So like, I think Diablo does a good job of sort of staying in their lane and making it pretty simple. But I do think that's one of the beautiful things about Path of Exile is there's this huge complexity, and to understand it takes quite a bit of effort and quite a bit of time. I would be shocked if Diablo ever wanted to go in that direction. So I get where they're coming from. I also get where you're coming from, but you're also not a Diablo big fan of Diablo anyway.
I played a ton of 3, but I didn't like it at the end of the day. I started really disliking Blizzard's marketing scheme and how money hungry they were. This was back in the disc days, right before things were purely digital. And goodness, this website that I have up, like the article just has so many pop-ups. But I didn't play number 2. I didn't play Diablo 2. Yeah.
I think Diablo 4 is definitely going to be doing whatever they do to stay in their lane, like to just sort of status quo. They're going to change things up a little bit, which I get, but it's money. They know where their money is, and Diablo, regardless, is going to make money. I'm going to play it, but I know that I don't have to read a single thing. I haven't read any of these things. And I know that I can jump into Diablo 4 without having to read anything, and I'll be able to just play something.
I do wish Path of Exile was more like that from a basics perspective. I think wikis definitely are important, and there's some stuff that should only be on a wiki. But absolute basics, Path of Exile is missing a lot. And it would be nice if you never wanted to purely min-max your build, you never needed the wiki. Do it. Right.
Totally.
And but I do think that Diablo 4 and Blizzard are, I mean, obviously they're very aware of Path of Exile, but I think they make and this is of course very naive, I don't know anything, but from everything that I've read, simplicity has been a very big key, which makes sense because they try and make their game for the masses. But I don't know. I feel like they intentionally don't get too complicated to stay out of competition for Path of Exile. I wouldn't know any better, but if I was them and I saw the strength of Path of Exile and that they, after all this time, still haven't faded, despite all the criticisms that there's been in the community, despite some of the failures that they've done, and even like quality, remember Heist, and then there's like the apology for forgetting that quality was important. Like those are huge things that normally just crush a company. Normally they just stop getting players and the company folds. So for Path of Exile to keep being successful with everything they've done, I think if I was with Diablo at Blizzard, I would probably be like, these are certain things that we need to avoid so that we don't cross paths, so that we're a separate entity that still attracts Path of Exile or Path of Exile like style players. Obviously, I'm saying that as a Path of Exile fanboy, but you know what I mean? Like, I think that Path of Exile's a game that they specifically mention, one of the few games that they would bother mentioning in their meetings to make sure that there's not too much crossover. That's my guess.
I think there's because of the complexity of Path of Exile, and like you talk, so Heist comes out, big problems, got to fix this, blah, blah, blah. The benefit Diablo has is pay us a fuckload of money up front because you're going to buy the game for 70, 80 bucks.
Yep.
And the game's going to come out and work. And we might do seasons and different things, but that's it. We're done. Yep. Like it's not like a 3-month cycle where they're constantly having so many people having to work and fix and do this stuff. So for them, keep it simple, stupid. Like they know you're going to pay the money. I'm going to buy it because it's Diablo. That's what got me into the genre. And I that's why I love Path of Exile. But I know I'm not getting in there and going to be, messed around with in the head and have a struggle to figure out my build. And they definitely know that's where their bread and butter is the simplicity of it. It's just, you just go in and kill mobs and so
there's part of me that wants it to be successful, but there's a part of me that also wants them to not be as successful as they're hoping to be. You know what I mean? Like I always want Path of that because of who we are and what we like. I want Path of Exile to be superior, but in a way that if you don't like the game, it's not because the game is crap, but if you don't like Path of Exile, I want it to be because it's just not for you, but you highly respect it. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're there. Like, I feel like a lot of the times I come across conversations where it's like, there's just lots missing from the game from a new person's perspective or a possible convert's perspective. So there's parts of me that I want Diablo to do well because it's nice to have that healthy competition in terms of the amount of time being spent playing this game instead of the other game, considering people only have so much time. So even if I'm playing Sims, that's still competition. You know what I mean? So I want Diablo 4 to do well for the competition's sake, but I don't want them to do too well because I want Path of Exile to be superior. But go ahead. Well, no, I was just going to say, I think one of the benefits of those two in the same genre and competing with each other is that they are so vastly different. They've never really tried to be the other one. And so what Diablo 4 to me I think it will be fine. I think it will be successful. But the benefit to me is actually Diablo 4 has a better chance than Path of Exile or even Path of Exile 2 of bringing new people into the genre. It just does. It's got more money. It's got more marketing. It's more known than Path of Exile. But a person coming in and loving Diablo 4 and the ARPG aspect and the, this build creation, getting, maybe if it's their first intro into that style, Diablo 4 or Diablo 3 or Diablo 2 or whatever. I haven't played Diablo 4, so I can't necessarily say Diablo 4, but it's a better introduction to the genre than Path of Exile is. And so if you get into the genre and you're like, man, this is actually a lot of fun, but maybe I'm not feeling super challenged, and then you find out about Path of Exile, I think that's actually
good for Path of Exile
Hands
because
down.
I think the intro to the genre is so much better coming through Diablo into Path of Exile, whereas Path of Exile for a lot of new players can be not enjoyable. It's not
Sure.
I don't think it's made well for them. So Diablo being successful, I think actually does well for Path of Exile, because as some of those players start to like it, and I agree. I'm really curious how many people play a Diablo game all through, like from Diablo 3 till Diablo 4. I can't imagine there's a ton of people that have been playing Diablo 3 this whole time. I think Diablo 3 is a come back to game. Like you play it, then you come back to it later, blah, blah, blah. Path of Exile is not that. People play Path of Exile. Some people play Path of Exile all the time. That's the only game in, because you have this 3-month thing going on. So yeah, I don't actually care success or not, but I think that them being successful is actually good for Path of Exile in the end, because it brings people into the genre. And if you are the type of person that likes to think a little bit more, a bit of a struggle to figure out a build, it's gonna lend you a little bit easier to Path of Exile. So, or
if you like couch co-op, GGG,
yeah,
couch co-op's nice. But there is also, I do find the irony of Path of Exile's the free to play game. You have to pay $80-90 to play Diablo, but Diablo is what people will try first, and then they come to Path of Exile. Like, it seems
Path of Exile is terrifying.
Yeah.
Path of Exile is terrifying. I would way rather somebody go hit up Diablo before they play Path of Exile, because I remember the very first time for me, Path of Exile, seeing the tree didn't excite me. It actually gave me a bit of anxiety. Like, oh man, my God,
I wet my pants.
I really want to figure that out? But I had played Diablo, like, people talk about how, like, because obviously Path of Exile built off of the idea of Diablo 2. Diablo 2 did not have one of those. Diablo 2 did not have this thing that I would open up and go like, what? It had bars. I just go, or like slight trees going up. It wasn't like, there wasn't the craziness of what it is. So yeah. Anyway, the only other thing I care about, if you were done with that, is the next one.
You may next one.
They are going to allow you to skip the campaign, and saying it's with a catch is the biggest load of nonsense. I get it. They're just trying to like drive people to click it.
Yeah.
You beat the campaign. Okay.
Yep.
You could have just written that in your stupid
Diablo 3.
title.
You beat adventure mode, which in Path of Exile Land's the campaign. And as soon as you've beaten adventure mode once, any subsequent character you create you can skip straight past adventure mode, and they put you at the specific level that you would be at when you start the end game, the Paragon leveling and such. And
I know it's not coming with Path of Exile 2, but it makes me so angry. I hate doing the campaign. And Chris Wilson, for as much as he wants to say that the Path of Exile 2 campaign is new and it's dynamic and I don't care. After the 400th time of doing it, I'm not going to have fun with it. It's the one thing in right now, this league, I feel like I've been a bit more into the league. And I'm not the league, not Crucible, but the game. I feel like right now there's actually not a piece of me that's wanting, once I gave up on Crucible, there's not a part of me actually right now that's going, I kind of want to play a different game. I actually want to play Path of Exile, but I don't want to level another character. I've leveled 3. I'm not going to do it again. So if I can't make something work with my current characters I have, then that is what is going to get me to stop playing the game. I know I'm not in the minority for that thinking. It's so weird to me that they just hold on to this idea of it's campaign or nothing. It's not even like there's an alternative option. It's just campaign or nothing.
My hope is that they are going to allow campaign skipping after you've earned it, just like Diablo. I think that's a really good checkbox. I think that works. But my hope is that they will add it, but I don't see them adding it with Path of Exile 2. I see them adding it like 2 leagues after Path of Exile 2, because they are excited about this dynamic campaign. And let's say they add the ability to skip it. Well, you know what? I don't see anything wrong with adding it at the same time as this new campaign, because your campaign's only as valuable as the motivation and the intrigue is there. And you've screwed up if people want to skip it anyway, because you know what I mean? Like that just means you kind of messed up the story or whatever it is that you were aiming for. But I mean, even if you have something like bandit quests, right? And you have choices to make, there's nothing wrong with having a screen where it's like, what did you choose in this past campaign? Click, 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 click. Super. There it is. Are you sure? Yes. And then you have it, and you're level 60 or 70 or whatever. I assume it's going to be, they said it's going to be around the same, so 68. Point is it would be really nice, but I don't see them doing it if they were going to add it until at least a couple leagues after PoE 2 came in.
Yeah. The only counter I have to that, which I know that's not your actual argument, you're just saying that's what you think they do. I don't care if the story is Oscar worthy, most amazing, bestest story you've ever heard in your life. I don't want to play it multiple times.
Right.
I don't play Path of Exile for the story or the axe.
Exactly.
I'm playing it for the end game.
Yep.
And so for me personally, I literally couldn't care less. I know I'm going to go into Path of Exile 2, not reading words, not figuring out who's talking to what. I know there are people who will. I'm not going to. I want to play the end game. That's where my focus is. Chris freaking knows that's where his money is. That's where their retention is. It's just so weird to me to have this yeah. So personally, I really don't care how great the story is. I don't want to be forced to do it. And it's going to be, it is going to be something that's going to be a little bit gross feeling if there's not something that they come out with. Maybe don't be a skip the campaign, but just something that's different, because Path of Exile, Grinding Gear Games is a long-term. Their goal is long-term. They're not coming out with Path of Exile 2 to exist for the next 5 years. They're coming out to exist for the next 10, 15 years. In the next 10 years of, 4 leagues per year, that's 40 leagues that have to come out. That's 40 times you're going to make me do the campaign. That's plenty. Don't do more than that. That's just being a dick. If you're going to make me do it 40 times, I'm fine. I can do it once a league. That's totally cool. There's I get that there has to be something that stipulates when you can skip it, but I don't want to do it more than 40 times.
All right.
In 10 years, that's enough. So anyway, I'm excited that they're doing it. I hope something rubs off.
Right. No, you know what, but I mean, we've mentioned this before and you brought it up just now, that any game that has an end game, that's what people are going for. Anything in between the starting point and the point that everyone's excited about, it doesn't matter how much. I mean, I guess it matters how minimum effort you put in, but honestly, people are desperately trying to get through that, no matter how good it is. It's always about the end game. Diablo gets that. That's why from the dawn of Diablo 3, actually, it wasn't the dawn of Diablo 3. It was their first major update for Diablo 3. I remember, where you didn't have to play through the campaign anymore.
Right.
But that was great, because that was thinking of me.
Yeah.
I can't think of a reason why I would want to play the campaign, or how it benefits me to play through the Path of Exile campaign again. Now, let's say in this new dynamic campaign that we're going to get in Path of Exile 2, that we're given lots of different choices, and maybe those choices unlock certain gems, or they unlock something else that you wouldn't maybe otherwise get. I don't know. If you pass the campaign, you could even have the restriction of, if you pass the campaign, you can only, quick unlock, that little screen I said, well, did you do this? Did you do this? You only unlock the rewards or the options for things you've already done. So maybe it could encourage you to do the campaign a few different times and make some different choices, so that your account unlocks all the options when you get your, and what did you do in the campaign this time checklist. But
unless one of those options is, I'll send a check to your house, I don't care. Because in the end, if you look, I mean, I can't say for how Path of Exile 2 will be, but Path of Exile 1, everything's unlocked by the time you hit Act 6. So I can get every skill. I can get, you know what I mean? There's nothing benefiting me to the choices that I made besides the bandits.
Right.
But I also, I really think that I feel like it is a very, I don't know what the word is, because I don't want to sound like a dick. It's not self-centered or thinking too highly of yourself. But the fact is, it doesn't matter how good the story is. It doesn't matter how good the campaign is. That's not why people are playing. So
they're perks,
make me experience.
But they're not core.
Yeah, they're not. I promise you, there's no chance it's good enough to make me go, yeah, you know what? I'm not really ready to map. I think I'd like to go through that story again. And that's not trying to be a dick to the story and the people who write it. I love what they do, but it does not matter how good it is. I'm not going to go, yeah, you know what? I'll do that again. And then I'll get to endgame. That's just not what Path of Exile is.
Yeah.
So
Oh, for sure.
anyway, I'm still excited for it. I can't wait. I just if that isn't announced, just FYI, it's going to be a topic that I forget to add to our notes.
If what's not announced?
When Path of Exile 2 comes out,
Oh, right, yes.
after ExileCon, if it doesn't say that there's a skippable option or something other than the campaign, I'm just saying, I might add it to Trello.
The first thing that Justin's ever added to Trello in 187 episodes. Actually, you know what? That's probably what ExileCon 2 is completely revolving around.
Skippable content.
Yeah, that's the final announcement. The final announcement.
Take that over. I don't need PoE 2. Let me skip the content. You keep PoE 1 going for as long as you want, Chris.
That's right. Bring on second COVID. We're ready because we can skip the campaign.
Skip the campaign, get to endgame. You know what? Ooh, that sounded so cool when I said it, and I didn't even mean it to. Skip the campaign, get to endgame. I didn't have to rate any timestamps or anything. Look at us. That one's staying in. Let's wrap this up.
Hang on.
Episode.
There's one thing I want to say. It's not important at all. But no. It's I'm going back now. When you were talking about like the only thing you'd need a checklist for at the end is the bandit choices. What I was saying is you only have unlocked the bandit choices you've chosen. So like I always choose the +2 to skill passive points. So if that was like, if I want to go through and I'm like, actually, I'd like a Lyra for this one, I wouldn't have it unlocked because I've never chosen it. So I'd have to go through the campaign and make those choices to unlock those things for my account-wide checklist at the end.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Let's wrap this up. Done. Episode 187. I get it. That doesn't make sense. Still not going to do it again, but I get it. Yeah. Forever Exiled 187. I am Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Thanks everybody for hanging out for episode 187. Patrons, we're going to catch you next in After Dark, obviously. Yeah. Everyone else, we'll see you next week in 188. Hey, thanks to everybody who's been rating us on Spotify and Apple. We love your faces. Bumping it up. Love it. It's awesome. Keep doing it if you haven't done it. And let's see, we got a website, foreverexiled.com, which you have to check out because the header is glorious.
It's up for 1 week. It's up for 1 week.
Tyler doesn't know how to change it.
We go to, should I say the...
No, hold on. I'm just going to quickly change the password to our account. So I'm just kidding. We got Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord you should be a part of. Hop in there and come say hi. Fun. And patrons, other ways to support the podcast. You can find them down below and on our glorious website. Bye.
Hey, are we talking Private League tonight? We're a month in. I checked the league start date and we're a month in now.
Yeah. After Dark. We'll remember. Bye.